welcome to this episode of the Desert Tiger Podcast. Here with me, Colton G. And today on this episode, I am joined by SNJÜ as we take you behind his debut single, Jealousy. Yes, some of you may recognize SNJÜ from his time as the lead singer of Dehli to Dublin. He's actually a former podcast guest as well when he joined us a year and a half ago to talk about the group. But this time it is a new focus, a new direction with this new project, SNJÜ. We're taking you behind the music of this new project, of its debut single, Jealousy. We're also taking you on the road that led here. What was it like to make the decision to go into a solo venture? How does the sound of SNJÜ differ from the world of Dehli to Dublin? How does this new world allow SNJÜ to represent himself that maybe Dehli to Dublin didn't? Who did he craft these songs with? Who did he work with? What inspired Jealousy? What has it been like trying to prepare for this debut release in a music industry that is heavily altered from the one that SNJÜ has been playing live shows in and releasing records in for many, many years, not having the ability to play live? How has that affected this release plan? And what does this new project, SNJÜ, not only mean for reconnecting with his past, but also for being a father? All of this, and more in today's episode of the Desert Tiger Podcast, and it is all brought to you today by DesertTigerMerch.com, because that's where you go to cop yourself something for the show, to represent it every place that you go. Showing your love for all things Desert Tiger, it is DesertTigerMerch.com. We are like getting super low on hats and toques. We will be ordering more, but they're probably going to be a different design. So if you want these ones, you have to move now and get them, or else you are going to be feeling an emotion that, well, connects to the title of the song that you are about to hear right now. This is Jealousy.
Jealousy, trying to hold on to me. Jump on my ride all night. Say she'll come with me, be my remedy. Unite for one night, ignite. Gotta pay to play the game. Don't you know it's all a game? I've won, yeah, I've won. Stars you can fly forever, never land to catch fire with desire. Be my supernova, work it over me. Shine bright one night, that's it. Be my
Desert Tiger Podcast.
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Chilling.
I love it. I love hearing it. It's been about just over a year and a half since we last reconnected here.
Yeah, man. Really? It's only a year and a half. It feels like a long time. A lot's happened, man.
Oh my goodness, I know, right? I actually had to go back and check the date because I was like, this was so long ago. I was like, no, May 2019. Okay, wow.
Whoa. That is crazy.
Yeah, it's been some time since between then and there, though. A lot has happened.
Yeah, it's like for real, man. It's like a lifetime's happened.
How are you keeping? Happy and healthy?
I'm happy and healthy, man. I'm lucky. I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. Like, I live on a small island off of the coast of Vancouver. So it's like, I got space. I was able to be outside and go places and do things, like throughout the whole pandemic and the lockdown. And we had a lot of tourists come and stuff, but we don't have clubs or bars and stuff like that. So there's not a lot of intermingling. So it was like we were in our own bubble on the island. And, it felt good. So, like, when you go to the city, like, you do the things, and be super cautious because you don't want to be the person that brings anything back to the island because that, if one person's affected, the whole island gets affected, basically. Like a cold or flu is, it travels so fast here. But like everyone, there was ups and downs, man. Like, I took up, meditation hard for a while there. It's part of my daily practice now. And it used to be back in the day too, but like I really needed it, man. I needed to like really go inside because sometimes it's just like, what the hell is going on? I got to get out, but there's nowhere to go. You can't go anywhere. So, with that and music, I'm like in a good place. I'm lucky. I'm super fortunate. I've known some people that got COVID, but they came out of it. Like some of them, I knew a couple people that got it real bad. Like, they were told like you're lucky to be alive when they came out of their like that coma state. But other than that, fuck, man, can't complain. Life's good for me, man.
Oh, well, I'm glad to hear that your friends made it through too and that they're doing all right now and that everything's, that you're got your mindset in the right place with the meditation and everything's going good.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm seriously, most of the time I'm floating.
Ah, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, so today we're connecting because you're going on a solo journey this time around, and we're gonna take a little bit of a dive into it.
Sure, man. Yeah, it's a trip, man. I'm on a trip for sure.
Ooh. So, my first question is, well, first off, I need to know how to pronounce the name because I'm a white kid from a small school in the Midwest, so my education only goes so far. I need still a little more refining. So, how do we pronounce this new project?
SNJÜ.
SNJÜ. Okay. Awesome. That's what I thought, but
yeah, the story behind that is that was my nickname growing up.
Oh.
SNJÜ is like my name's Sanjay. And SNJÜ is really the actual. It's like I don't know what you call it, the official short form for Sanjay, even though it's the same amount of syllables. Like Jack and John, or like what is it? Will becomes Bill,
yeah,
or something like that. Like right? Like it's like what this doesn't make any sense, but it is. So it's like my official name growing up, and my whole family called me SNJÜ, and no one called me Sanjay or Sanjay until I went to school. And then I became Sanjay. So, when I resonate with SNJÜ, it's like, that's like, for me, that's like the real me, man. Like, that's the inside me. That's what I was, and that's who I was at home in my family. And when I started this project, talking to one of my, closest friends who I go to for a lot of advice, and he was just like, yo, man, you're like an OG. You've been doing this for a long time. But if you want to take this to the next level, you got to do you, and you got to do you as hard as you can. Yeah, man, like this is not a product it's just me flowing through. So I was like, oh, you know what's fucking sick is like if I use, I just go with who I was or what I am, and the child version of me, the person inside that, when you want to go back in time and give all the love to and say it's going to be okay to heal those childhood traumas and stuff. It's like, that's the kid. It's SNJÜ. So I'm like, that's what I'm going by. And it kind of is like, kind of like elusive a little bit, It's like, what is SNJÜ? Is it Japanese? Is it, it's kind of vague. And so it just sounds dope. So I was like, this is awesome. And to me, it's dope. I'm going with it.
It definitely does sound dope, and I mean the sound is dope too. So I want to know, this sounds like it's a little bit of a reconnection with the roots, maybe being a little bit of the person that you needed maybe when you were younger. So when does the idea of SNJÜ, like you said, a friend suggested it, so when does it actually begin to take form, where you decide, I need to actually make this effort, put it forward, and become this new, reconnect to SNJÜ?
So, we basically started last fall, the end of last summer, early, maybe the fall, September-ish, I think, September 2019, maybe October, yeah. And it was like, it basically kind of felt a few things. Like Dehli to Dublin is doing its own thing. Within the band, I think the feeling is we're at a place where it's a good place, but is it gonna? Where do we want to take this? Like, do we want to put a ton more effort into this? The other guys have some, their own projects going on, own businesses and stuff that are also doing really well. And T was talking about how he's getting a little older and doesn't really necessarily want to tour as hard as we have in the past. And so COVID happened, and there you go. Here's your answer, man. You don't have to tour at all. So that was kind of like just starting to play the idea, and like really, like you're right, man. Like I never had done any solo work before, so a couple of things kind of came into play. Was one that their outside or extracurricular outside of Dehli to Dublin efforts are taking up more of their time. I myself, I have a child. He's a little dude now. He's almost 5. He's in kindergarten, and it's like, things are just different. And then I started playing around with this idea, like, okay, like let me like, I have this creative outlet I want to get out. That's kind of the stuff I listen to, like what I'm listening to, what resonates with me, isn't fully in the Dehli to Dublin world, and I kind of wanted to just a chance to just like express myself without having to think of the band. And when you work in a band, it's awesome, and but it's its own thing. So I can't just go and write a song. Like, if I want to write a song about a strip club, I can't live in the Dehli to Dublin world. Mm-hmm. Not in that form. So, like, you can get sexy in Dehli to Dublin, but it's not going to be what this is. And this for me is kind of like the childhood dream. It's kind of like the dream of like being in grade 8 and knowing like, man, I want to do something. Like, I want to do something that's big and different. And like, I guess I want to be famous, but it's not about that. It's like, kind of like you said, reconnecting to what it was as a kid. Like, what was I listening to? Like, who was I looking up to? And what did I want to be like? And this is the sound of that. Like, this is my version of that sound of what I was doing as a kid, like a lot of that pop sound and pop music. And so I kind of I didn't think about it too much. I just kind of started working on it, and this is what came out. And it was like, okay, this is what's in me, and this is what's flowing. And I'm like, this feels good, man. And the amount of ease that stuff is coming out, I was just like, this is it. This is SNJÜ, man. Everything's just working fantastic.
Awesome. I love it. So I want to know, so you spoke about transitioning sort of from that Dehli to Dublin to the solo sound, moving to the pop sound, and some of how it's allowed you to express yourself differently in terms of like songwriting. How else has this SNJÜ journey allowed you to express yourself, you feel?
100% of the decisions are me, right? Things move quickly. It's just like, what do I like? Do I think this is dope or not? And that's it. Like, that's do I love it or do I not love it? Does it bring me joy or not? And that's basically the premise. You know, I have a great team and everything, but they're not on the creative side at all. They're like, yo, do your thing, and we got you. You know, it's like, whatever you think is dope, let's go with it. It is. So we got your back. So that's where I'm able to express. Like, I don't have to think about, is this the message that Dehli to Dublin wants to put out? And that message is great. I'm all for, you know, global love and raising elevation and that sort of thing. And that's a part of me. But this time I get to just not think about, there's no conscious thinking of what is it that we're trying to do here. It's just like, what do I want to do that's awesome? And like, like the fact that I kind of am an OG in this, like I've been doing this for a long time. We've been touring with Dehli Dublin for 14 years. I think I've been a professional musician for 16 years. I kind of know what I'm doing, you know, like I kind of know what the industry's about. And at the same time, like the more you know, the more you don't know. Right. So it's like, I have the ability to just do what I want to do and what I think is awesome. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm just following the joy. So I just want to do things that bring me joy. That expression alone for me that's huge. That's like another level for me. That's like, okay, you know, if it's not commercially viable or whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm just making this music and putting it out there for people to catch on to. And if they do, they don't. Like, there's no, are we going to be able to tour this? Are we going to be able to get the grant money for this? Are we, you know, like, I'm out of that system. And I'm going to try to take advantage of that system and get into the system, but on my own terms, because it's like, if I don't, it doesn't matter. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't even know what's happening in the world right now. You know what I mean? I can't even, you know, I could say, yeah, I might tour, or I might do some streaming shows, or I might like think those are completely stupid and not want to do them. And it's like, knowing that I don't know what the outcome's going to be, I'm able to just create for the pure sake that I love making music and making music like this. And it's like, whatever comes of it, that's awesome, man. It's all bonus now. I'm in like bonus time.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like stepping up to a bat in a whole new way. And like you said, you've been doing this for 14, 16 years. So after a decade and a half, it's almost time that you truly express all of you.
Yeah, man. Why not, right? Like, why hold back? So that's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of a really great place to be. And I acknowledge the position I'm in to be able to do that too.
For sure, and that's definitely part of those decade and a half has definitely helped lead you to this position to possibly influence your little SNJÜ, your next generation, into chasing his own heart, right?
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, you know, as a dad, like, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to be an example of me living my best life and me doing what brings me the most joy. And if my kid can do that, like, I fought the struggles, you know, like, there's the cliche struggles of being a South Asian kid growing up in the West and all that, okay? So, you know, there was never the pressure to be a doctor or a lawyer, but their kids have that. But I did have to, you know, I went to, you know, I graduated with a degree in economics, and there was like, okay, well, you got to do this. And at some point where, you know, I was about third year when I was like, fuck this. You know, I finished, and I was by third year, I was like, I'm done. Like, this is stupid. I'm a number. I'm just a number. I'm a student number in a huge university. I don't enjoy what I'm doing here. And I got, like, my buddies used to call me, like, I got known as the bitter bear when I was at university, and it was pretty true, you know. Like, I'd like, skip out on class, hang out in their dorms, watch, like, reruns of A Different World or Cosby Show or whatever, you know. And instead of wanting, you know, I didn't want to go to class, and I'm like, this is stupid. I'm learning, like, basically everything by the time it's third, fourth economics is all calculus. I'm like, I didn't sign up for this. What am I doing? You know, I at least had the sense to finish and everything, but I knew right from then, man, like, I was like, this is not what I want to do. So, like, what can I can't, you know, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be like, yo, you know, like, my kid's name is Kosa. Like, Kosa, you're going to be a musician. You're going to be an artist. It's like, you know, if I do that, he's going to be an accountant like the rest of my family, you know, like 100%. Like, but I want to be like, yo, this is your dad and your mom do what they love and they follow their passions. So you know this from the beginning. And this is like, if you can live your life this way, man, you're unstoppable. get it. Like, I don't want to feed the system to him. That's for sure.
Dope, for sure. At least just letting him know that whatever it is that makes his heart sing, he has the opportunity to pursue that.
Yeah, and he's got the closest people in his family, his life have believed and lived it too. That's huge.
I love it. I love it. So let's change pace a little bit here.
I love it too, man.
Let's change pace a little bit here, just because you mentioned a little bit of the premise of your first song here, Jealousy, talking a little bit about the strip club vibes direction here that we're going. So let's take a jump into Jealousy. When did you begin to craft it? What was the influence, the meaning behind it? Who did you record it with? All that fun stuff.
So, okay, Jealousy, like, for real, man, I was at a strip club. And, I don't go to strip clubs often. It's not a thing. But I'm down with strip clubs. Like, I got no issues with strip clubs. I love the premise of them. I think it's amazing because it's like, it's like a fantasy world, man. It's like an escape room. You go in, it's all transactional. There's no back and forth there's no like, it's not like the weirdness of the real world. You're just in the fantasy world, and it's all transactional. So then now during the transactions, you're basically like getting the feeling of what it feels like. But she's not into you, man. She make you feel like she loves you, though.
Mm-hmm.
And in this situation, I was at a buddy's birthday. I don't know how we went for a nice, super nice dinner, and then we ended up, end of the night, let's go to the strip club. All right, let's go. I was designated driver that night, so I was just observing, having a great time, observing, watching, just seeing stuff. And then I started talking to some of the dancers come around. Start talking. I'm just talking to them straight up. I'm like, you know what, man, I saw you, and you were awesome. Like, how long was your routine? Like 15 minutes or something? Have you, like, pole? I've tried spinning on a pole, man. 15 minutes of what they're doing is fantastic. It is hard work, man. I work out like crazy, and I couldn't do that. Like, I couldn't do that, man. So anyway, it sparked up conversation. We started talking, and now I was like, you know what, this is interesting. We just started talking about sexual tension. And, I'm joking around, but I'm like, I'm kind of doing research on sexual tension and sexual energy. But for real, like, and I say this, and I've said this before, but, like, sexual energy is everything. You can, it'll destroy families, like, but it'll also motivate to do the greatest things. And I can only, like, you can go back to any age, but, like, thinking back in high school and that girl that you were in, or part of whatever, girl, guy, whatever you're into, that sparks that sexual energy. And it's like, holy shit, I'm going to do anything and everything I can to, like, harness this and, like, to go after this. And, it'll make huge changes. You'll push mountains, but at the same time, it'll destroy your family. Like, it's that powerful. And it's kind of like, a lot of times, like, the reason, like, why are you going to wear those pants? And why are you going to wear that shirt? Because you want to look good. You want to wear, like, that. You're going to wear that nice underwear. Oh, man, I just got me some Saks. Makes my package feel good. I feel great. Like, you feel good from the inside out. So that's sexual, man. And that's big. It's powerful. So, this song came out of that. We were at the Penthouse in Vancouver, and Penthouse is super famous. It was a cabaret way back in the day. Like, Sammy Davis Jr. used to come and sing here, and Frank Sinatra and stuff used to hang out here. It was a very black entertainers were fully welcomed and allowed to play and perform there. And I think the original, it was in the penthouse of the building. So it's a social institution in Vancouver. It's part of the social fabric. It's got huge history. Motley Crue's song "Girls, Girls, Girls" is about Penthouse because there's a flashing sign that says "Girls, Girls," and I think they were here. They recorded that song here. They demoed it here, and that just came out. So basically, I worked with a guy called Kultar Got Bounce. Is his name. He is fantastic. He's like the nicest guy, and he's a beast, man. He's a powerhouse. He's been producing, in his bedroom since he was like 7 years old or 11 years old or something like that. So he's like an OG, and he's still young. He's working with all the Vancouver up and comers, man. He's doing it, and I'm watching his stuff. Like, he's producing stuff now that's starting to hit about 500,000 plays and stuff. So, like, I can't even get in with him anymore. He's getting so busy, So, like, working with him, he just started to work up this beat, and I was like, yo, man. And by this point, this was the fourth song we were working together. So we had a system. He kind of understood where I was coming from and how I work, and he just let me do my thing. So we got to a place, and then he basically just throws me on the mic and says, go for it, and he knows what I'm about to do, and I don't know what I'm about to do. It just flows through, and I let it. The more open I can be, the easier it comes, and it just kind of came through, and then basically I just was like, yeah, man, we just capture vibes, and I was able to capture the vibe, or at least the feeling of what that night was, or is, or can be, into song form. And then after I kind of come up with some stuff, and he basically was like, yo, man, like, the song's done, and then he added that synth line. And when that, like, kind of Weekend-esque synth line came in, man, it was it. Like, the song is done. It's like, there's nothing more needs to be done. We don't need to sit here and work it over and over and think about it. It's like, we captured a vibe, move on. It is perfect because it's, like, imperfect. You know, like, if I listen back to it now, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could probably change a bit of the lyrics. I could change a few things. It's like, why bother? Like, don't wreck the vibe. That was the vibe, and it is what it is, man. You capture the moment, and then you can't mess with that moment because it's gone, man. So that's the song. And I love working with Gopar, man. He just gets it. He's just on it, man. He's tapped in.
Nice. And that's one thing about that sexual energy too, where, like you said, we tend to overthink it. What am I gonna wear? Why am I wearing this and all this? But sometimes you just gotta follow that vibe.
Yeah, go with it. You want to feel good? Go for it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do these things. And the more I meditate and the more the more I know I don't know shit. It's like, do these things because it's all just energy. If you feel it, you feel it, because we're just energy beings. And then we are interacting with other energy beings. So it's just a bunch of energy moving around. Like, I can get into the real woo-woo here if you want me to, but, like, that's all it is. So if you feel something from doing it, then just do it, because it's just changing the energy and the vibe. And it's like, that's all I'm trying to create with my music. It's like, if you listen to this and you can feel that vibe or feel something, that's it. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm. You got to keep that high vibration. Keep it good. Keep the influencing the other vibes around you.
100%, man.
Mm-hmm. I love energy. It's what I believe in is my my higher power. I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, no joke. And it's like, at this point now, like, science is backing it up. Like, this is not like, you're not talking about some strange phenomenon that people are like, yeah, what are you talking about? It's like, no, man. Like, this is backed up. Quantum physics has all the science behind all the spirituality. It's all there. It's all come full circle, or whatever you want to call it. But it's proven. It's not even like there's no question about the electromagnetic field and how when you meditate and what you're doing. Like, it's fully science-backed. So it's like, yeah, it's a real thing.
And you can measure it like a decibel, like you do music. And
yeah.
I mean, I believe in music, so I believe in energy.
Yeah, for sure. With you, man. I'm vibrating with you, man.
Ooh, I love it. I feel it too. I feel it, which is the best part. All right, so going on from jealousy, I know, like you said, it's sort of hard to predict what the future holds, but what do you say right now the future holds for SNJÜ going forward out of jealousy for the end of 2020, maybe at the beginning of 2021?
Well, I mean, we're kind of set up, man. I've got singles ready to go, and you can't fool anybody. This is a friggin' game, man. We're in a game. It's like you're playing against the boss. The boss is the algorithm. So, like, if you're gonna play now, like, I've been here for a long time, and I'm in it, and I've seen the changes, and I'm like, all right, this is how the industry's changed, so let's go with it. So I'm set up to basically release singles for the next every 4 to 6 weeks for, like, the next year. I'm just gonna be putting out stuff, man, and those songs are done. Things move fast, man. When you're forced to be at home and you're a creative being, it's like, if you can harness that, those things go. They move, and they're just like, and the more I'm in it, the faster it's going, like, things are just kind of happening. And I'm like, just kind of sitting back, enjoying the ride, because you can't really do too much still, and in fact, I live on this island. It's like, I've gone to Vancouver like maybe 4 times since February, or 5 times since February and all, like, so really I'm just at home watching it happen and being like, okay, this is a nice pace. Like, let's see what happens. I've set it up, and you know, and there's got to be flexibility in the game. If things take off, you know, it's all, you know, the business side is there. It's like things take off, you put a little bit more time into one single than the other, and you kind of caress it and watch it grow. And I'm like, okay, I'm also an emerging artist, right? Like I'm not, I know I come from Dehli to Dublin's background, but like as my own entity, it's not really, it doesn't really translate into huge numbers for me automatically, especially because Dehli to Dublin's not like some massively known band too. It's like, you know, we're known, like we're the biggest band that no one's ever heard of is kind of what we feel. You know, we've played almost every big festival and like toured all over the world forever, but it's like, you know, we weren't on radio very much. That sort of thing. So it's like I'm kind of starting fresh. I'm kind of starting like a new artist, except for the fact that I kind of got clout. I got a team that's behind me because they know what I'm capable of or what I can do, and they know what I can do live. And it's kind of, I'm just in a rad position, man. Like without, you know, I'm not even trying to be cocky, but I'm just more grateful than anything. It's like, this is what a fantastic position to be in, to be able to release new music, yet have a team. And not have, I've never released solo stuff in the past, I don't have any baggage. It's not like, oh man, my brand is not on point, because it's like, I never created a brand in the first place. It's like brand new. So I'm stoked right now, man. So that's it. Just feed the algorithm, play the video game, and just keep doing it. Just do the thing. And play. I got the rules given to me, so I just play.
Fresh start, keeping it nice and cool and making it moving. I love it. All right, so I want to thank you very much for joining us today. I still have one question, and it's actually a question I've started asking since the last time you've joined us. In the 16 years that you have been releasing music, creating music, expressing yourself, and continuing to grow this expression into this new form through Dehli to Dublin and into SNJÜ, how do you feel that you have grown not as a musician, but as a human being through the releases of this music?
Okay, so I think through the releases of the music has led me to, like, I've seen places, I've met people from all over the world, you know, and I've just experienced and seen things now that, like, you know, a lot of musicians have strive for, and a lot of people who don't have that ability because what they're, you know, a lot of people have like 2 weeks of vacation a year or something like that. It's like, then you got to work 9 to 5 and that sort of thing. So when you meet people and you go around the world, you grow as a person. And I've just seen these things. I've seen, my heart has opened. You know, I've been, I remember when we first started, I remember one of the first festivals I played in like 2007 or 6, and it was like backstage, the food that was being served, I don't think I'd ever eaten quinoa before. And, you know, like you could be like, what, you never heard of quinoa? Or you could be like, what the fuck is quinoa? You know, like, but I was a pretty sheltered person growing up in a suburb of Vancouver as a South Asian kid, you know, like, so I know all my Indian food that you're not going to know, but I didn't know what quinoa was. And now I've seen the world, man. Like my heart's opened up, and I feel my understanding for things that are different has expanded. It's way more. My sense of empathy and compassion, and knowing that this is the way I live is not the only way. And I mean, it's very relevant in what the hell is going on in the world today, man. Like, it's really ugly out there, but when you can take a step back and be like, yo, this is minority of what's happening in the world. Like, it's, the ugliness is really small compared to a lot of the beauty that's out there. And I've seen that, you know, like I've seen in that stuff, and I just feel like I can walk into a situation and not necessarily just like, yo, this is how we do it. This is how we do, because this is where we're from. It's like, yo, man, like, no. You know, when you're in India and stuff and you're touring there, it's a different world, and you got to respect the way that it is there. And that comes home to me, you know, and I can understand the way that people come from different places and things are different. And it's, you know, it's hard to pinpoint answer the question just directly. This is how I've grown, but I just know just the fact that my heart has opened so much more over just from seeing more things. And I think that's, you know, indicative of anything. Like, the more you have seen, the more you're capable of knowing that it's like, there's a bigger picture out there. There's bigger things. We're removing the world is revolving around the sun, and we're all moving together, barreling through space at a tremendous speed, but like we're in it together. There's like that sense. It comes back to energy. Like there's a collective consciousness, and it's kind of a kind of a windy road answer, and I don't even know if I fully answered it, but I just know that there's a sense of much more openness to me. And that's come because of the music. Like if I hadn't released any music ever, this never would have happened. I never would have been exposed to this. Or maybe I would have. Maybe that would have been, it would have been some other way. Who knows? But like, this is my path, and I've seen it. And thank you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to every single one of those releases that has brought me to this position, exactly where I'm supposed to be in this point of space and time.
I'd say you just gave a great answer to the question, my friend.
Right on, man. Right on.
All right, I want to take a moment to thank you so much for joining me today, SNJÜ, to tell us about this new direction, this new journey.
Right on, man. Thanks for the love, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it much.
I always appreciate being able to catch up with past guests like SNJÜ, and it was definitely a pleasure. I hope that you, the Ambush, enjoyed this conversation with SNJÜ here today. I hope you enjoyed his single Jealousy. I hope you enjoyed the single so much that you're gonna go out and smash that play button on your favorite music streaming service, that you're gonna hit follow on that streaming service so that when more SNJÜ comes out, it's on your phone, it's in your ears, it's stuck in your head. ASAP. Yeah. And now it is time for our Roaring Desert Tiger podcast thank yous. So a roaring Tiger, thank you to SNJÜ for joining us here to tell us all about this new direction, this new path, and I'm excited to see where it goes for him. I want to say a giant Desert Tiger roaring thank you to Strut Entertainment for going ahead and helping with setting this whole thing up. And last but not least, a roaring Desert Tiger thank you to you, the dedicated, loyal Ambush. If you haven't joined up with the Am yet, it's super easy. All you have to do is hit subscribe on the podcast listening service that you're using right now, and you can also help the show grow by giving us a 5-star review on that service. You can share this episode, and if you do, please tag SNJÜ, the Desert Tiger podcast, or me, the Colton G, so we can show you some love for doing so. And the last way you can help us out is by heading on over to deserttigermerch.com and copying yourself something to represent the show everywhere you go. Any of these are all great ways to help the show, and you don't know just how much they actually, truly do help us. All right, next Tuesday on the podcast, we're joined by Raph Pylon, as we're discussing his latest track, King's Lane, which features the storied Tito Jackson, and we're going behind the music of that track right here next Tuesday. It's only a few days away, but until then, you guys know what it is. I want you, yes, you, the Ambush, to go out there to find your oasis or your mountaintop, whatever it happens to be that makes your heart sing and scream to its fullest capacity with all of its glory. Find that thing, craft it, get better at it, make it better, and then show that roar out across the canyon, roar out across the waterfront, and show the world the beautiful thing that you have created. Show the world just how beautiful you can be, because deep down, yes, you are, and sometimes we don't hear it enough, so I'm gonna say it again. You, yes, you listening to me right now with your 2 ears, you are a beautiful being who is capable of incredible things. Yes, you are. And until next week, bye-bye. And remember to tip your damn strippers.